In this video, we're breaking down some of the most confusing and frustrating cruise line policies. Knowing them ahead of time can help you avoid costly mistakes and unnecessary stress on your next cruise. Number 1. Age restrictions. Many first-time cruisers are shocked to learn that age restrictions on ships are not as simple as they seem. While most cruise lines allow children on board, some have strict policies about who can travel alone, book a cabin, or even enter certain areas of the ship. For example, some cruise lines require at least one passenger in a cabin to be over the age of 21 or even 25, meaning younger travelers may need an older guardian to book a room. Additionally, most cruise lines don't allow infants under 6 months to sail, and some itineraries require babies to be at least 1 year old. These rules extend beyond just booking and boarding. Some ships enforce age limits for certain activities, adult-only pools, and even the casino. Imagine planning a trip for your 18-year-old who's legally allowed to gamble on land, only to find out they can't play in the onboard casino because the minimum age is 21. Knowing these policies ahead of time can help you avoid disappointment and ensure that everyone in your group is eligible to fully enjoy the cruise. Another surprise for families is that some kids' clubs and teen lounges have strict age cutoffs, meaning siblings who are close in age might be split into different groups. This can be frustrating for families hoping their kids can stick together. Plus, some cruise lines don't allow minors to roam freely after a certain time at night, requiring them to be with a parent or guardian. These restrictions can affect how much independence teens have on the ship, so it's good to check the rules before setting sail. For young couples planning a romantic getaway, age policies can also be tricky. Some cruise lines consider 18 to 20-year-olds to be minors when it comes to booking, which means they may not be able to reserve a cabin without an older adult. This can create unexpected issues for young honeymooners or college students traveling together. The best way to avoid these headaches is to carefully read the cruise line's policies before booking. Number 2. Beverage policies. One of the most debated cruise policies revolves around bringing drinks on board. Most cruise lines strictly regulate what types of beverages, especially alcohol, you can bring with you. Some allow a limited amount of wine or champagne but prohibit beer and spirits, while others won't even let you bring bottled water or soda. These policies often catch passengers off guard, and many have had their drinks confiscated at embarkation. What makes this even more frustrating is that cruise lines charge significantly higher prices for drinks on board, forcing passengers to buy from their bars or purchase expensive drink packages. Some guests have even tried sneaky tactics like disguising alcohol in water bottles, only to have them confiscated when security does a thorough bag check. The best way to avoid losing your beverages and money is to carefully check the cruise line's policy before packing. Some cruise lines even go as far as limiting how much duty-free alcohol you can bring back on board from ports. Many passengers assume they can buy bottles of liquor during a port stop and enjoy them in their cabin, but most cruise lines hold those purchases until the end of the trip. This means you won't get to drink that special bottle of rum or wine until you're off the ship. It's a frustrating rule that catches many cruisers by surprise. If you're looking to save money on drinks, consider researching drink packages ahead of time. Some cruise lines offer discounts on pre-purchased packages, while others have happy hour specials or buy one, get one deals at certain bars. Knowing the best way to save can make a huge difference in your onboard budget. Number 3. The no DIY laundry rule. If you're planning a long cruise and want to pack light, you might assume you can do a quick load of laundry on board. However, many major cruise lines don't offer self-service laundry facilities, forcing passengers to pay high fees for laundry services. This means if you spill something on your clothes or need to freshen up your outfits, you'll have to pay per item or wait for promotional laundry specials. Some luxury cruise lines include free laundry as a perk, but on most mainstream ships, prices can add up quickly. A single load of washing, drying, and folding can cost as much as $30 or more, making it a costly inconvenience for budget-conscious travelers. Some cruisers get around this by bringing their own detergent and washing clothes in their cabin sinks, but even that can be tricky since some cruise lines prohibit hanging clothes on balconies or in the bathroom due to fire hazards. One way to get around this rule is to look for mid-cruise laundry deals. Some cruise lines offer discounts on bulk laundry services midway through the trip, allowing you to get your clothes cleaned for a more reasonable price. If your cruise is longer than a week, it might be worth waiting for one of these deals instead of paying full price on day one. Another tip is to pack lightweight, quick-dry clothing that can be easily washed in the sink without needing a dryer. Many seasoned cruisers bring a small bottle of wrinkle release spray or fabric refresher to help extend the wear of their clothes between washes. A little planning can go a long way in avoiding those high laundry fees. Many cruise lines still have designated formal nights, requiring passengers to dress up for dinner in main dining rooms or specialty restaurants. While this might sound like a fun tradition, the dress code can be surprisingly strict. Some cruise lines won't allow jeans, flip-flops, or even certain casual dresses, and passengers who don't comply may be turned away from dining venues. This can be a major inconvenience for those who prefer a more relaxed vacation or simply didn't pack the right attire. What makes this even more confusing is that dress codes vary between cruise lines and even between restaurants on the same ship. Some dining rooms enforce formal wear, while others allow resort casual attire. If you're unsure about what's acceptable, check your cruise line's specific policy in advance and pack accordingly to avoid being denied entry to dinner. Another issue is that some passengers assume formal night means optional dress-up, but on certain luxury and traditional cruise lines, it's strictly enforced. You might see crew members politely turning away underdressed guests at the entrance of dining venues. Some cruisers even get creative by buying a last-minute formal outfit from the onboard shops, but that's not always a cheap solution. If dressing up isn't your thing, you still have options. Many cruise lines offer alternative dining venues that don't require formal attire, like buffets or casual restaurants. Some even allow room service on formal nights, so you can still enjoy a nice meal in your cabin. Knowing your options can help you avoid any last-minute stress over what to wear. Number 5. The no drone policy. Drones have become a popular gadget for travelers who want to capture stunning aerial footage, but most cruise lines have banned them entirely. Even if you have no intention of flying your drone on board, many cruise lines won't even allow you to bring one in your luggage. Some ships will confiscate drones at embarkation and return them at the end of the cruise, while others may refuse boarding if a drone is found in your bag. What makes this rule frustrating is that some cruise lines allow drones but restrict their use to certain port stops, while others prohibit them altogether. Since rules can change frequently, passengers who don't check ahead may be surprised to find their expensive equipment confiscated. If you plan to bring a drone, it's essential to verify the cruise line's policy beforehand to avoid any issues. Even if you manage to bring a drone, you might run into additional restrictions at ports of call. Some destinations have strict no-fly zones, hefty fines, or require special permits for drone usage. If you're caught flying in a restricted area, you could face legal trouble, and your drone might even be confiscated permanently. For those who want epic travel footage without the hassle, consider using a high-quality action camera or a 360-degree camera instead. Many cruisers find that these devices offer stunning shots without violating any rules. Plus, you won't have to worry about security checks or unexpected confiscations. Number 6. Port arrival time. One of the most overlooked cruise policies is the strict enforcement of port arrival times. Many passengers assume they can show up at the port whenever they want on embarkation day, but cruise lines often assign specific boarding times. If you arrive too early, you may have to wait outside the terminal for hours before being allowed in. If you arrive too late, even by just a few minutes, you might be denied boarding altogether. Unlike flights, cruises don't offer last-minute boarding flexibility, and once the gangway is closed, there's no getting on the ship. This policy becomes even more frustrating for passengers dealing with flight delays, traffic, or unforeseen travel issues. Cruise lines typically do not provide refunds for missed embarkation due to late arrivals, which means you could lose thousands of dollars if you don't plan accordingly. Some seasoned cruisers avoid this risk by flying into their departure city the day before and staying at a nearby hotel. If you're booking a cruise, make sure to check the required arrival times and give yourself plenty of buffer time to avoid missing the ship. Another little-known rule is that some cruise lines require passengers to be back on board at a certain time during port stops. If you're late returning from an excursion, the ship won't wait for you. There are countless horror stories of passengers being left behind in foreign countries because they misjudged how long it would take to get back. Always double-check the all-aboard time and set an alarm to make sure you're back in time. One trick that experienced cruisers use is setting their watches to ship time instead of local port time. Sometimes the ship's clock doesn't match the time in port, which can cause confusion. If you rely on your phone, make sure it doesn't automatically switch time zones or you could end up stranded. Number 7. The complicated Wi-Fi and internet policies. In today's digital age, most travelers expect reliable internet access, but cruise ship Wi-Fi policies can be both confusing and expensive. Many cruise lines offer tiered internet packages with different levels of access, meaning passengers must pay extra for things like video streaming, social media, or even basic browsing. Some packages only allow access to certain apps, while others charge per device, making it difficult for families or groups to stay connected without paying a premium. To make things even more frustrating, cruise ship Wi-Fi is often slow and unreliable, especially when sailing in remote areas. Some cruise lines advertise unlimited internet but impose hidden data limits that throttle speeds after a certain usage threshold. This can be a major inconvenience for passengers who need to check emails, work remotely, or stay in touch with family. If staying connected is a priority, research your cruise line's Wi-Fi policies ahead of time and consider alternative options like international data plans or portable hotspots that work in ports. One cost-saving hack is to wait for internet package discounts. Some cruise lines offer discounts for purchasing Wi-Fi in advance or bundle internet with other perks in promotional deals. If you only need Wi-Fi for a short period, look for daily or hourly plans instead of paying for full cruise access. Another trick is to take advantage of free Wi-Fi in ports. Many cafes, restaurants, and even cruise terminals offer free internet access, allowing you to check messages and upload photos without paying high on-board prices. If you can wait until you're on land, you can save a lot of money while still staying connected. Knowing these policies ahead of time can help you avoid problems and enjoy a smooth sailing experience. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future cruise tips. Let us know in the comments, what's the weirdest cruise policy you've ever encountered?